I'm here with John Pugh today, and he's going to show us around his polycultural, perennial, edible landscaping, and he's creating a little bit of a food forest on his property. John?
Hello, and that's a lot of words. Cirrus just calls it our yard, but we'll walk around the yard and give you guys a tour, right, Cirrus? That's going to be a pro. This is moringa. Moringa, drumstick, or horseradish tree, or other names for it. It's a nitrogen fixer, legume, and produces a bean, which I just harvested out. And basically, when you harvest the beans out, you can just hack the tree off, and then you can start new wood vegetatively. Start new trees with vegetatively, just sticking these in the ground, or you can compost these into the ground around the yard. The leaves are good and edible soup. And here's I'll show you a bean. I dropped a bunch of them. And I think this was the original Jack and the Beanstalk tree, because if you plant a moringa seed, it'll grow 20 feet tall in a year and then produce dozens of these up at the top. So, and these are from India, and they're not really invasive or spreading, but they are really delicious. It's my favorite bean in the world, and they're feeding a lot of the population in Africa. So this tree is from Echo, and this is one of their largest successes, has been promoting this in 2 areas. And once it's established, doesn't require water or food. It just does its thing, produces hundreds of beans a year.
Great.
I can change gears into the moringa bean that we spoke of. Moringa, the miracle tree, horseradish tree, whatever we're going to call it. These are a little immature to eat. They're a little thin. They have to reach maturity, but before they start to dry. So this bean here is just reaching about maturity. It has a full feeling to it, and this is about at the edible stage. If they're under matured or kind of straight and stringy, they'll taste extremely bitter, and you won't like them. And then as they get over mature, they start to become dry and sort of hard, and then they're overripe. So if the eating of the moringa takes a little bit of plant, you have to be familiar with your beans, because if you harvest them too young, very bitter. Just right, the most delicious bean in the world. A little bit dry. They're very hard to eat, and they take a long time to boil, and they stay very tough. So it's moringa, you have to be familiar with them. The window for harvesting the bean, though, isn't like it's a short window. You probably have a 3-week month between, 3 weeks to a month between when they're immature to when they start to dry. So there is a nice window of opportunity to harvest them, but they do need to be harvested.
And how many months out of the year do you have that window?
The moringa produces according to water. So if you're watering your garden, which per se this moringa is not watered, this just grows. It's basically due to rain. So they usually will flower and produce fruit after the beginning of the summer rains. And if you have, like if we had consistent rain this year, I would have flowers and beans of all sorts of ages on this tree. Whereas we had some rain, then it stopped. I've got beans of a certain age in this tree. So the harvest is they're a summer fruiting tree. We'll get the beans in the summer. The tree has to get mature. It takes several years to reach maturity till it will fruit. And its fruit production really depends mostly on the amount of, it'll always fruit in the summer, but its time frame of fruiting depends on its water, and if you're watering it or if you're utilizing just the rainwater.
Okay.
I let it go.
How many years is several years?
It's a
ballpark.
Tree 3 to 5.
3 to 5. Okay.
3 to 5. It could be 6, could be 2. But usually 3 to 5 years before they'll reach maturity.
All right.
And then you still want to cut them back to keep them low to make it harvestable.